Hello. I'd like to take some time today to talk to you about off-market listings. And I'm not sure where to begin. So let's start here. First of all, realtors are not supposed to be advertising properties for sale on which they do not have a current listing contract. Where does that line draw? Where's that line drawn? Um, Well, if you tell somebody I've got this property and you vaguely describe it to them, you've probably not crossed the line. The minute you tell somebody an address, I believe you've crossed the line. So, there's that. Then there are the MIBOR rules. The MIBOR rules state the following. We've got two rules in play. The first one says that any listing taken is supposed to be in the database within 2 business days of the start date. The clear cooperation policy states that as soon as public advertising begins, a property is to be in the database within 1 business day. And just for the record, and I've gotten clarification from this, telling one of your brethren agents about a property and giving them the address would qualify as public advertising. Telling a potential client an address would be considered public advertising. So, how do you do these off-market listings within that framework? If they're done within the firm or within a team that you're on, I'd suggest using the office exclusive policy, office exclusive listing. If you don't know how to do those, ask somebody. There's a particular form that needs to be filled out. I like this form because one of the things the form does is it informs the client that by doing something less than putting the property in the database, they may not get the best price or the most favorable terms. And I do believe that that disclosure needs to be made, and it should be made in writing regardless of how the property is sold if it's not going into BLC. So I suggest you get that form signed on any kind of off-market listing. If you do it that way, you don't ever have to have the property go in the database. Personally, I don't think these listings ought to go in the database because I don't like the data, because it's probably not the highest and best price that could have been received. And anybody who goes out there and uses that data to appraise another property may be doing that particular client a disservice. So if you're going to do these, I also suggest in the closing notes on the data sheet that it's noted. Not an arm's length sale, investor to investor, or seller chose to sell to a particular buyer, as opposed to marketing the property. Something that lets an appraiser know that the data isn't necessarily open market, highest and best data. Your other choices are to list the property and put it in the database, listed and sold. However, you're going to have your timing right. Your timing is going to have to be, you list the property and within 2 business days you get an accepted offer. You could possibly put a property on the market to do off-market, temporarily off-market, and start it in that status and then pend it from that status. However, understand you cannot show a temporarily off-market property. So any offer would be subject to the people seeing the property or the investor seeing the property, if that's even required. Once it's pended, anything goes. You can have it inspected, you can have it, you can show it to whoever has pended it. But those are basically your choices. Any listing you take, you should have a contract and it should go in the database. That's the rules. You do anything less than that and you open yourself up to possible fines, ethics complaints, or both. Or maybe even worse, although I'm not sure what that is yet. So I'm hoping that I covered this thoroughly in this 5+ minutes that I've been talking to you. I'm sure there's something that I've forgotten to mention, but this is about as thorough as I can get. So if you want to do off-market stuff, make sure your clients understand what they're doing on any off-market listing. Have them sign the office exclusive policy, because or whatever it is. I keep calling it a policy. I don't know if it's a policy. But have them sign that because it's a written disclosure of the fact that they understand they're not maybe getting the highest price and the best terms. Just to put it in the file. If for nothing else, just to put it in the file so it shows that they heard it and you said it. Happy to answer any questions. Have a good one.